It's been said, when words fail, music speaks. Tonight's performer has been speaking through music for years, as he's taken the stage with some of music's most notable bands and has produced for its most revered artists. He's shared the stage with the likes of Prince, Jay-Z, Marcus Miller, and Jill Scott. But Lee Hogans is here with us tonight to give us a taste of his latest album, What We Play Is Life. He's also brought some very special guests with him to make this night even more memorable. I'm your host, Fredara Mareva Hadley. Don't move, because Lee Hogans is here to let us know what he's feeling, right here on B-Side. Thank you. Can you tell all of us what we just heard?
So the name of that song was called Groove. I don't know if any of you have been to the West Village. There's a place called Groove right on the corner of 3rd and McDougal.
Yep.
So it was named for that. We used to do a residency there every, like once or twice a month. So that's where that comes from, yeah.
Fantastic. And while I'm getting you talking, letting you catch your breath, can you also introduce the band and get that sip of water?
Most definitely. So on bass, we have Rob Colazzo. Give it up for him. Drummer tonight is James Biscuit Rouse. We have Gabrielle Murphy on tenor sax. Misha Josephs on guitar, Misha Josephs. And John Rogie on piano.
Awesome. We're all happy to be here with
I'm
all of
happy
y'all.
to be here too. Thank you for having me. Yeah.
So I want to let the audience get to know you a little bit.
Okay.
I know you're from the ATL, you're from Atlanta. Do you come from a musical family? Is this what y'all sit around and do back in Atlanta? How'd you fall into music as a
Well,
career?
no one plays instruments except for I have a younger brother that plays saxophone, piano, and stuff. But my mom used to sing all the time. You know, she would sing in church or sing at home. She never pursued it as a career, but you know, she would do it at home. So I think we kind of gravitated to that. And I have an older brother as well who was really into music. So he kind of like got me into hip hop, into R&B and everything before playing jazz, you know. So I would say he's probably the biggest influence as far as getting into music.
Really? Hip hop came first?
Hip hop came first. I wanted to be a DJ actually. Like, wanted to be a DJ. My parents wouldn't give me turntables, so you know how people, I don't know if you've heard of like pause tapes.
Of course.
So I made a whole bunch of pause tapes, and you know, that was kind of what I wanted to do. And then I found the trumpet, so.
How'd you find the trumpet?
In a pawn shop, actually. It was like, yeah, we had a friend who had a pawn shop. I knew I wanted to do something musically, so trumpet wasn't really it, but my parents were like, hey, it's $50, try that, you know? So.
Worked out pretty well.
Worked out. Worked out, yeah.
All right, can you tell us what we're gonna hear next?
Next, we're gonna hear a song also written while we were doing this residency at Groove. This one has no title, so we call it Untitled.
So you kind of just set a vibe in here with that one.
Oh, nice.
I know we appreciate that.
Appreciate that. Yeah, thank you.
Do they teach how to do that in school? I know you went to Georgia State for undergrad.
And Rutgers for
Rutgers for graduate school.
Not really. I think that song just comes out of like feeling, and you know, I'm always, no matter what type of feeling it is, if it's happy, sad, you know, whatever, I always feel like music has to come from, for me, it comes from one of those emotions when I'm writing it. And so that one, a little bit of both, a little bit of, I guess, happiness, a little bit of, I think at the time I was going through a lot, so I wanted something to write something beautiful to kind of contrast what I was going through. So I think that's why I haven't come up with a title yet, because I can't pinpoint what was, like I know what was happening, but I can't pinpoint exactly what to call it, you know? So I just kept it
also
untitled.
leaves it up for interpretation, right?
Exactly, leaves it for interpretation as well, so yeah.
No, that felt good in the room.
Thank you.
That felt good in the room. So, but how do you, in terms of your songwriting and your composition process, can you talk about how much of it is, you know, the thinking and the feeling? Like, how do those two sides come together, the education and the experience? Like,
well, you know, as far as my schooling, I learned a lot of the technical, you know, parts of maybe playing the trumpet or writing music as well too. So, but you don't learn it the way that you learn it going on stage, playing in front of people, playing with the people that I was fortunate to play with. You know, someone like Prince or Jay-Z, I learned so much just from watching them, you know, and being on stage with them and everything. So it's definitely hands-on. You can't, I don't feel like you can go to school and then come out and be like this amazing musician, because you gotta live it.
A little bit.
You gotta live it. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, how does your classical background or connect, or does it translate? In what ways?
Yeah.
Do you see them as separate, or do you see this as an opportunity to bring them together?
Definitely, it's especially for the trumpet. The trumpet's a tough instrument to play. So I was fortunate to study with a lot of trumpet teachers who have a classical background. So the technical part of the trumpet, it never came easy to me, the technical part. So I had some great teachers that helped me out. I think the musicality was always there since I was young. So yeah, so that part of the classical aspect is important, I think, because trumpet's not an easy, you know, putting your lips to a piece of metal and blowing it and trying to make
it sound that good.
Yeah, and trying to make it sound good is difficult, you know. So yeah.
Well, we're going to let you get back to it. What's the next song we're going to hear?
So the next song we're going to do is, I'm going to invite a good friend of mine and probably one of the best MCs I know. His name is Silent Night. We're doing this song called Hustler's Anthem, which is on my album, What We Play Is Life.
Right
which
here.
Is right there. So we decided to do a remix of it. That one is instrumental. We decided to do a remix, and it's all about like the grit of New York and, you know, whatever you do, whether it be music or, you know, if you have a blue-collar job or whatever, hustling and just, you know, making it happen. So that's what this song is about. Yep. Give it up for Silent Night.
to my to-do list. Before I'm even lucid, I'm just used to it. Bump a couple beats before I brush my teeth. I would write all day if it was up to me. But see, I gotta hit these emails stat about 3 or 4 calls, a meeting on top of that. No rabbit out the hatch, but sometimes it is magic. Mess around and get a hat trick. Multitasking, not just a rap or a jazz thing. It's the city. Whether you busking or busting tables, if you young and able, gotta jump up on the payroll. Incredible caseload. Leave a civilian with their face froze. But it's a regular day. Look, what else more can I say? It's the hustler's anthem. And you say New York City. You stay busy. And you say, yeah, what we do is we hustle, grind, work, move, build, push, go, show, and prove, focus, plan, dream, do, get up, get out, and get something. What we do is we hustle, work, grind, move, build, push, go, show, and prove, focus, plan, dream, do, get up, get out, get something. What we do is we hustle like you never seen, survival above everything, cause you ain't trying to keep the same routine. Really it's about bettering, questioning, self-doubt and second nature. Independent and major, basically still a wager. The behavior and the balancing act of a working artist in their natural habitat. You know, like concrete goes with jungles. We just trying to eat like the ones amongst you. Not trying to compete or be flexing muscle. It's like PH used to say, we on a rustle. New York City, the raw, gritty, the pure, the salt, really the strong, the awful and the awesome, all along with the Lord willing. We all winning. It's the hustler's anthem. Come on. And you say New York City. Stay busy. And you say, ha. Come on. What we do is we hustle, work, grind, move, build, push, go, show, and prove, focus, plan, dream, do, get up, get out, get something. What we do is we hustle, work, grind, move, build, push, go, show, and prove, focus, plan, dream, do, get up, get out, get something. What we do is we hustle. Focus, plan, dream, do, get up, get out, get something. What we do is we hustle, work, grind, move, build, push, go, show, and prove, focus, plan, dream, do, get up, get out, get something. What we do is we hustle, work, grind, move, build, push, go, show, and prove, focus, plan, dream, do, get up, get out, get something. What we do is we hustle, work, grind, move, build, push, go, show, and prove, focus, plan, dream, do, get up, get out, get something. What we do is we hustle. Thank y'all.
All right. right, so I got to hold up the album. I'll do it again. What we play is life. Can you talk a little bit more about your musical journey to this release? We know that you played with a venerable list of people and produced with everyone from Prince and toured with Marcus Miller and all these folks. Can you tell us a little bit about the process of getting to this album? All of that, all the hip hop and all those experiences.
Well, I guess the album is like a conglomeration of all my experiences up to this point. Where do I start? It's like
the easiest.
It's a long, long journey. But no, I think so. I'm from Atlanta originally, and I moved to New Jersey to go to grad school. The reason I wanted to move to New Jersey, besides going to grad school, was to be in the city. You know, I have like a lot of jazz influences from Freddie, Hubbard, Dizzy Gillespie. You know, all these guys were in the city, you know, in the heyday of jazz. So they were, you know, I looked up to them. Also, my hip hop influences from like Run DMC to Master Ace to, you know, all those guys were also from New York too. So, you know, coming from Atlanta and watching Yo MTV Raps or watching like some, you know, jazz videos, I was like, that's where I want to be. So I found my way up through school, you know, went to school and got my grad degree and just got on the scene and just worked as much as I could, you know, met a lot of people. There's actually one person I should mention that's very responsible for a lot of the touring I did, and it's a saxophonist named Mike Phillips. I don't know
Philly?
if you've heard, yeah.
Yeah.
I was in his band coming straight out of grad school, toured a lot with him. He introduced me to some of the musicians with Puffy, so I got to tour with P. Diddy. He introduced me to Prince, actually. He was in Prince's band, so he called me for that. Yeah, a number of other musicians as well. It's, you know, because of him, because of his guidance and influence. So
so you got to be really, really good, but it's also who you know.
It's also who you know, and it's, you know, it's like what you would think this should be the easy part, but a lot of people can't do this, is show up on time, dress well, you know. You know, like the simple thing, be cool, you know. You know,
be
so
nice.
Be nice, yeah. It's easy, I think. So, you know, those things helped me. Plus, of course, you have to be good at what you do.
Of
so,
course.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you talked a little bit about how the Village and the Groove, and I've been there, directly impacted this album. Can you tell us a little bit more about where you were in this musical journey, this amazing musical journey that you're having when you decided to put this album together?
So this album, although it was released in 2005, so it's not super new, but you know, it was like an 8-year process. So I think I started recording in 2007, but then I started touring as well too. So
2015? It was released?
2015 was released, yeah.
You said 2005. I wanted to make
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah,
No,
2015. Yeah, let's get that straight. I do have an older album that was released in 2005.
Right.
Yeah. So anyways, so yeah, it was like a 7-8 year process to record it, being off and on the road, and there's a lot of things that happen. I have an older brother who passed away, so his influence is in that album. There's a track on there called 99 and a Half Won't Do, and it's my great-grandmother, who is 99. I had an opportunity to go down and see her on her 99th birthday, and I you know, never really rapped with her or talked to her about what she did growing up and what happened growing up, so went with a tape recorder and just taped 2 hours of her talking about what she did growing up. She did some crazy things like working on the railroad, you know, all these things to survive. So, so on that song, you can hear a snippet of her talking about that and singing as well too. So I tried to incorporate a lot of family into this album. There's little snippets here and there of family. So, yeah.
It sounds like it reflects the title. What we play is
What
life.
we play is, which is a Louis Armstrong quote, who's also one of my favorite trumpet players. Yeah, what we play is life.
Amen.
Yeah.
Well, can you tell us what we're going to hear next?
That's a good question. What are we going to do? I think we're going to do, the next song we're going to do is a song called Gemini. I'm a Gemini, so Here we go.
All right. We got about 3 more, so we're going to start with the twin.
Yep.
So we are hearing all this great music, and it came out in 2015, and you're all over the world. What do you have going on now, and what can we expect from you next?
I'm working on 2 new projects. One was kind of inspired by the shootings of African American men.
Mm-hmm.
So don't have a kind of title yet, but not really. So I don't want to say the title. I kind of working, but yeah, it's kind of inspired with that. So I want to do a suite about that. And also, there's a lot of pop covers that I love that I'd like to basically like arrange in my style. So those are the 2 projects. And I'm working with other musicians like Silent Night, and my band has had the fortune to do a Blue Note residency. Nice. So we had the opportunity to perform with Prodigy before he passed.
Oh, wow. And today's
happy
his
birthday, by the way.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Prodigy.
We worked with Grand Poobah. We worked with Master Ace. We've got a couple other shows. Next week we're working with DJ Mr. C, who's doing a Biggie tribute on November 10th. November 11th, we're working with Sadat X. So we're doing a lot of different hip-hop shows. And it's, you know, these are guys that I watched on TV when I was young, like, just, you know, had so much reverence for them. And now it's like I'm actually doing shows with them. So it's incredible, you know.
You found a way to put those 2 worlds together.
Yeah.
People often think jazz is over here and hip-hop is over there, which has never really been the case.
Yeah, of course not. But, yeah, I think, you know, sometimes it's challenging working with hip-hop artists because there's a lot of sample-based stuff. And we're trying to find a way to make it still seem, it's funny because they took music from, they sampled jazz, and, you know, to make their music. Now it's like, as jazz musicians, we're trying to recreate what they did. It's almost like, you know,
it's a bit
opposite.
of a full circle
Yeah,
moment.
full circle. So, yeah.
All right. Well, what are we going to hear from you next?
We got one more, and then the last one. All right.
You have
2
another song.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
Uh-huh.
All right,
You have
just making
2
sure.
more.
Just making
This isn't
sure.
it.
Next, we're gonna play a song called Motor City, and this basically came from my love of Jay Dilla. I was like, I am still, but like a insane Jay Dilla head, and analyzing, being a producer as well too, just analyzing everything so much and just the groove and feel and everything. So I wrote this song. This was on my first album that came out in 2005, called The Vibe Orientation. This was called Motor City.
Yeah, and but not to like mess up your vibe, right? But can you go ahead and set up the last song, because it ties right in.
And the last song, I'm honored to have special guest Master Ace here from the Juice Crew, from you know, just one of the innovators of hip hop, and he was gracious enough to come out and do one of his newer songs with us, called Young Black Intelligent. And also, I just met this gentleman the first time we did a Master Ace show at the Blue Note. His name's Pearl Gates, and he's an amazing vocalist, writer, MC, everything. So he's going to join us as well, too. So give it up, Pearl Gates.
Thank you, Lee, for giving us your most soulful experience. I wish we weren't out of time, but if you'd like to hear more, check out Lee's latest album, What We Play Is Life, wherever you buy or stream music. And you can keep up with Lee on Twitter at Lee Hogans and Instagram at Will Lee Ho. That's WILEEEHO. I'm Fredara Mareva Hadley, and I hope you've enjoyed yourself tonight. Make sure you stop by our Brick House studio every Thursday to hear more of the best music Brooklyn has to offer. You can also check out tonight's installment and past episodes anytime at youtube.com/BRIC TV, or check out our Brick Radio podcast of this episode at soundcloud.com/BRIC Radio. Lee, please take us out with one more song right after this.
lot of my friends didn't like school, but I did. Let me explain. Young, black, intelligent. This is not a first, but it feels like a curse, and it weighs like an elephant. Heavy on my mind, cause I feel so irrelevant. Heavy on my heart, it's like I'm smart for the hell of it. Heavy on my soul as I stroll through the village, stranded on this island. Feel like I'm Gilligan. Friends got jail, and then they got bail. Stress that I'm under, I just wonder what they kill again. Please understand that I'm living in the concrete jungle while I stumble as it crumble under my feet. In the building lobby, see my man Bobby puffing on the joint, that's the point when I eyes me. Ask what to wait on the books in my knapsack. He's so amused, I'm confused why he asked that. Then I understand the motive and the plan. He's trying to be the man while I stand getting laughed at. Dudes got jokes, but very little hopes. That's why they try to bring me down like a halfback. But I got balance. My mom's made a promise. If I get the grades, I'll be praised like Thomas Clarence. But I don't know if the law's in my future. Cops in the war and they'll sure try to shoot you. All I wanna do is get a B in geometry, lose my virginity, and live my life drama free. Yes, as I sit. Come on, come on, come on. But me, why be I? Why be me? If I fly, they gon' see. I might die, but I'll be free. So why be I? Why be me? Young, black, intelligent. Young, black, intelligent. Yeah, yeah. Young, black, intelligent. Young, black, intelligent. Young, black, intelligent. Young, black, intelligent. Young, black. Penny for your thoughts, a nickel for your dreams, a dime for your goals, and a quarter in your jeans. Trying to make $1 out of 41 cents. Caught up in the barbed wire, shorty on the fence. I could be a knife-packing, gun-toting hooligan, but I can't decide, so I'm on my way to school again, on my way to duel again. Me against the world, but all I can think about is me against the girl. Youthful exuberance, busting at the seams. Look at all the other kids cussing at the deans. Look at all the other kids cutting their period. But I'm on a team, and my coach won't hear of it. He's well aware of it, I ain't getting pinched. Y'all dummies go ahead, I ain't getting benched. Whole lot of right and a little bit of wrong, and everything you work for gone, gone, gone.
As I sit and count these clouds,
say what, say what,
I sure hope mama is proud.
yeah. Why be I?
Why be I?
Why be me?
Why be me?
If I fly,
If I fly,
they gon' see.
then they gon' see.
I might die,
I might die,
but I'll be free.
but I'll be free.
So why be I?
So why be I?
Why be me?
Why be me?
Young, black, intelligent. Yeah. Young, black, intelligent. 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 Young, black, intelligent.